Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to Xbox On. And as you may know, games are constantly being worked on. New modes are getting added, improvements are being made, new features, just loads of stuff that you want to get your hands on.
Yeah, games are always getting massive makeovers. So here are 8 games you need to revisit. Okay, what's that you say? An excuse to play more Skyrim? No, I couldn't possibly. I've got far too many other games to finish. Oh, go on then, you've worn me down. Pass me the controller. Come on, pass it to me now. I need to play more Skyrim, right now.
As Skyrim came to Xbox One in the form of a special edition complete with plenty of mods, constant updates are being added. I had some time away from Skyrim to help wean me off my crippling addiction, but heading back in, it's staggering how much has been added in that space of time. For example, why not bring the Force with some lightsabers? I mean, everyone wants to live out their Star Wars-based fantasies, right? Well, with unique Magicka sabers you can. This tasty weapon mod allows you to craft your own lightsaber, which apart from looking cool, also has some neat features. For example, if you time your attack right, you can bounce off any incoming magic attacks to return back to the sender. Plus, with a different selection of styles and colours, you can be the most fashionable Sith Lord out there. Maybe weapons aren't your thing and it's a new follower you're after. I mean, I have no idea why you'd want to get rid of Lydia, but whatever. With Recorder as your modded follower, she'll make notes of your adventures, occasionally go crazy at the sight of blood, and be a cute and charming companion. Aww.
Yay! Chit-chat time, which means no more walking time.
And finally, don't forget to check out The Forgotten City, an incredible side quest mod that involves mystery, cunning, and an all-new storyline. It takes around 6 hours to complete and has multiple different endings. So grab your lightsaber and recorder and head over there because this is not something you want to miss out on.
If you've been keeping an eye on your Halo 5 file size, you might have noticed that it's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger, but for good reason, because the game is now filled with awesome new ideas. 343 Industries have added heaps of new maps, new tweaks to Forge mode, and made substantial changes to campaign difficulty, but I want to focus on a couple of specific things that I love. First up is Warzone Firefight. Added in June 2016, this mode is an amazing twist on Halo's classic Horde mode, Firefight. For starters, it lets you play as a team of 8, so there's already more carnage on the battlefield. More importantly, Warzone's rec system allows for the scale of the battle to escalate over the course of a game. While round 1 will see you beating down the Covenant or Prometheans with simple loadouts, by the 5th round every player has spawned a vehicle and is raining hot lead on the battlefield. Even better, you can join in from the pilot seat of the Wasp, a new UNSC ship added to the mode last June. With this much firepower, you almost begin to feel sorry for the Warden Eternal. Almost. The other standout feature is the amazing things people are making in Forge mode. New features and building blocks are being added all the time, and the community has used them for some new game types. How about a giant game of beer pong? Okay, so there are no pints for our Spartans to chug, but it's still pretty fun. Or maybe you want a round of mini golf played with golf clubs that hit with the force of a gravity hammer. Getting the ball up this special mountain course is pretty hellish. We've also seen maps based on the classic game show Total Wipeout, which proves that the water obstacle course is even more difficult for Spartans. There's also this awesome variation on Call of Duty Zombies mode, where you protect a bunker from approaching robots. And if you're feeling a little nostalgic, we even found a racing mode based on Mario Kart's Rainbow Road. I'm not sure Nintendo's lawyers would like it, but you have to applaud the effort. Halo 5 is just a game that keeps on giving, so why not hop on your Xbox, give it a go, and try out all the new stuff.
You've got to hand it to Rockstar. Not only do they make one of the most amazing games ever, they go and add loads of DLC to its multiplayer mode too. Let's hope we see the same for Red Dead Redemption 2, huh?
GTA 5 may have come out 3.5 years ago, but Rockstar continue to keep adding huge amounts of content. Their DLCs always add some spice to online multiplayer life, with huge selections and different styles. Now, talking about style, you're going to want to check out Deadline. This futuristic DLC turns the streets of Los Santos into a stylish electronic battle to the death. You'll be reaching hyperspeed as you race along in your Tron-like world, taking down foes with the power of your light trail. I know, right? Slight change from holding up employees at convenience stores, huh? If a neon mental world isn't your scene, then you could always get more gruff and rough with the Bike Gang DLC. Live out your handlebar moustache dreams and form a proper biker gang. Start a clubhouse and a business, and make sure your chopper is looking bad to the bone. There's a bigger selection of quads and sport bikes for those inclined, and you can also battle rival motorcycle clubs too. All you need is some sweet tats and a bandana and you're good to go. If pure exhilaration and all-out fun is more your gig, then the Stunt Race Creator is perfect. Being able to customize races in GTA 5 Online has been one of its strongest features and usually leads to the most side-splitting fun with your friends. So the Stunt Race Creator is definitely a welcome addition. From insane loop-de-loops to tracks on fire, there's over 250 stunt props at your disposal, which can only lead to amazing results. Or awful results where your car's on fire and everyone's dead due to your poor designed track. Either way, fun all round.
Now, when Rainbow Six Siege first got released, a lot of gamers found it quite bare and empty with not that much content to it. However, if you've been kicking doors down for the last year and blowing holes in walls, you will know that the game has grown massively. Hundreds of tiny changes have been made, altering everything from how hard it is to spot booby-trap doors to the design of bulletproof shields to give the user a better chance of success. Ubisoft have also added some amazing new maps, letting us finally play in the university scene in the short single-player missions and storm a huge Brazilian slum. Is it wrong to let the hostages die because you stopped to watch the fireworks? Yeah. But for me, the key new addition are the new operators. Added over the course of the year, 8 new phases have been added with some awesome new abilities to add to the tactical mix. I'm personally quite a big fan of Echo, who pilots a small stealth drone that can jump into the air, disguise itself with camouflage, and then fire ultrasonic bursts that confuse enemies below. It's a great way of defending a dangerous spot without being in it yourself. Or you could go full Home Alone with Frost's Welcome Mat, a mechanical leg trap that is invisible to electronic detection. Just don't try to wipe your feet on that one. Of course, as good as it is to play with smart defensive abilities, it's never quite as fun as playing with deadlier toys. Like, I personally love Capital's crossbow so much. It fires a crossbow bolt that burns up oxygen in the surrounding area, suffocating anyone who is nearby. It's awesome for long distance kills, though do watch out for firing it in smaller areas as it can backfire. I'm really sorry about that, guys. You have to go and try these new maps and characters. All of it was added for free to the game, though you will need to save up in-game currency to buy operators, though it's well worth the effort.
Now, for anyone who's played through Dishonored 2 and absolutely loved it and is desperate for an excuse to dive right back in, this next section will be music to your ears.
A lot of us delved deep into the world of Corvo and Emily, only to come out of it desperate for more. Thankfully, Bethesda has done something about it, adding in a few more excuses to boot up our Xbox Ones to head back to Karnaca. Following on from Dishonored 2's last patch, which added new Game Plus mode, letting you mix both characters' abilities in one body, the second update adds mission select and custom difficulty settings. The coolest update has to be the custom difficulty settings though. With this customizable option, you'll be able to go through each level with your very own rules. You won't just be making the level easier or harder, but changing little details like how effective your sleep darts are or how drawn to you enemies are. And if you're a crazy person who enjoys suffering and pain, you can add Iron Mode, which is basically permadeath with no saving. Like I said, it's your funeral. Now, if you don't mind me, I'm off to make my sleeping darts very strong and to make some guards look very stupid. See ya!
Now, Gears of War 4 has only been out for a few months, but the game that we're playing today is so much different to the game we first got our hands on in October. The major addition over the last few months is a fresh batch of new maps for us to murder our way across. Gears 4 handles maps in a very interesting way, as new maps are dropped into circulation as others are removed. If you own the season pass, you can play any map at any time, but even if you don't, you still get to try new locations and no multiplayer map ever hangs about long enough for it to get boring. It helps that newly added maps are a huge amount of fun. We particularly like the return of Gears of War 3's checkout. Set in an abandoned supermarket, it has lots of variation in cover height, which makes for some really tense standoffs. Just don't eat any food you find, it's probably gone off. And you want a trip to a slightly less depressing location, you should visit the new Sprayer map. You can spend half your time drooling over the amazing art design and the other half painting it with monster guts. The Coalition also recently added a huge number of collectible cards to the game, unlocking new playable characters and weapon skins, though even better, if you have a season pass and haven't played since the Season 2 update, there are 20 bonus card packs waiting for you to unlock. Our favourite unlock has to be the Luchador Oscar, created to celebrate the Gears Esports Mexico City Open. I'm not sure about that spandex offers much protection from bullets, but there's no arguing with the sight of a colourful wrestler sawing the swarm in half. If anyone ever needed a spin-off game, it's this guy. Until they make that, you best keep dipping back into Gears of War 4 to see what treats are added.
Now, what on earth could you possibly add to a bald one-man killing machine with a red tie and a barcode tattooed on the back of his head that could possibly add to that experience? Maybe a different selection of ties or a toupee?
Well, no, not quite. Forget wardrobe choices and fake hair, Hitman has been stuffed to the brim with added content. An episodic release schedule obviously made way for added levels being released, but what about the bonus stuff on top of that? Well, firstly, there was the summer DLC. It consisted of 2 separate ICA sessions which delve into Agent 47's first trips to both Sapienza and Marrakesh. They're not part of the story arc and have nothing to do with the contracts you take out in the main game. The stories themselves are a lot of fun. The Arkone in Sapienza sees the town taken over by a film crew shooting a new sci-fi blockbuster complete with a 100-foot mechanical robot. Yep, just your average day on the old Hitman job. On the other hand, a house built on sand, which is the Marrakesh mission, will take you to the busy night markets, where you'll be putting a stop to $1 billion deal. I mean, I preferred the gigantic robots, but each to their own and all that. On top of that, there's escalation contracts, a mode which requires players to kill certain targets whilst being given a side objective as the difficulty ramps up. Each escalation contract has 5 levels to it, and with each level the player will be given an added challenge. For example, you may have to hide all the bodies in a punishing time limit, or hack a computer somewhere on the map, or perhaps all guards can see through your numerous disguises. And if that wasn't enough, the game also frequently has elusive targets, which I think might be my favourite thing. It's basically a permadeath for your contract. You have a target, but if you mess up, that's it. There's no going back and redoing it. It's tense, full of pressure, and super unique, which is exactly the qualities that make Hitman so amazing in the first place.
The Fallout series tells us that war never changes. This means that the Fallout games have clearly not been playing Battlefield 1 because that is a war that has changed massively over the past few months. There have been the smaller changes that you would expect with any Battlefield game. Some guns have been given a little bit more kick and others have had their godlike powers of death toned down so that they're not overpowered. Match rules are tweaked to stop either side having a clear advantage, and there are some vital changes made to mechanics. One important change is that the squad leaders are now forced to use the squad command function or face losing their position as leader if they're not issuing orders. But what really stands out are the custom modes. These unique rule sets create some amazing new variants of classic Battlefield play. In Fog of War, for example, the Arkone forest map is flooded with a thick mist. The minimap is removed, teams are harder to tell apart, and everyone is limited to pistols. The mode is incredibly tense, there's no clear line of sight, and even when you do spot a shape in the mist, there's no guaranteeing if it is one of your men or one of the enemy. Another awesome mode is Line of Sight. This is a paradise for snipers, as it limits play to the scout and medic classes and pumps up the rifle damage so even the lightest greys can bring you down. The superpowered sniper rifles let you pull off incredibly satisfying kills as your team's gang of medics desperately try to keep your life tickets up with their syringes. If they don't keep their heads down, there's no syringe on earth that can save them with a nicely placed headshot. But the standout mode has to be back to basics. These rules strip play back to bolt-action rifles, removes the elite classes and heavy tanks and planes, and forces you to do battle in 64-player conquest. It may sound as if DICE has cut out loads of fun stuff, but it actually really focuses the game, giving each class a really clear goal and forcing you to be far more careful with your shots. No spraying and praying here unless you're playing as the support class. If you haven't played Battlefield since launch, you have to go and try out these new game modes. Some of them are so good we don't actually know why they weren't packaged from day one. You owe it to yourself to play them, so go do it right now. So there we have it, 8 awesome games that you need to go revisit right now. Let's know what your favorites are in the comments below and if we've missed any out. And if you're new to your channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future content.
And don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and check out last week's list show whilst you're at it. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.